It began as whispers, fragments of rumors shared between the shadows. A dark army, an ancient force, was rising again. Their purpose was simple: to cover the world in darkness, to subjugate all living beings, and to bend reality itself to their will. They were the Shadow Legion, an army forged from nightmares, born in the depths of forgotten realms, and led by a being known only as the Void King. At first, the signs were subtle. People spoke of strange, unsettling phenomena: the sky turning black in the middle of the day, the moon glowing an unnatural shade of crimson, and entire cities vanishing overnight. But when the first wave of the Shadow Legion appeared, all pretense of normalcy shattered. The ground trembled as an army of faceless soldiers, their bodies cloaked in inky darkness, marched forth. They were not like any army the world had seen. No flesh, no bone, only the ethereal blackness that consumed everything it touched. The first major city to fall was Tokyo. In a matter of hours, the sky was blotted out, and a suffocating darkness spread over the city like a blanket. Streets were swallowed and buildings crumbled as the Shadow Army advanced, leaving nothing but desolation in their wake. The people who tried to resist were overwhelmed. Their bodies turned to ash as the shadows drained them of life across the globe. The pattern was the same. London fell, then New York. Soon, every major city was under siege. Governments crumbled, military forces were wiped out, and the few survivors fled into hiding. The world was sinking into despair as the Shadow Legion tightened its grip. But amidst the chaos, a small group of rebels emerged. Led by a former soldier named Kalen, they were an eclectic mix of survivors. Ordinary people who had refused to give in to the dark forces. They had no grand army, no powerful weapons, but they possessed something more precious: hope. Kalen had heard of an ancient prophecy, one that spoke of a power that could challenge the Void King, a power that had been lost for centuries. The prophecy told of a lost artifact, a crystal known as the Heart of Light, hidden deep within the ruins of an old temple, buried beneath the ruins of Egypt. Kalen gathered his ragtag group of survivors, scientists, archaeologists, former soldiers, and even a mystic who had once trained in ancient arts, and they set out on a desperate journey to find the Heart of Light, hoping it would be the key to defeating the darkness. Their journey was perilous. The world they once knew was now a wasteland. With the Shadow Legion controlling every corner of the earth, they fought through darkened forests, across barren deserts, and into the remnants of cities now controlled by the Legion. The closer they got to Egypt, the more they felt the oppressive weight of the darkness closing in on them. But it wasn't just the physical threats that plagued them. The shadows seemed to twist the very fabric of their minds, whispering doubts and fears, trying to tear them apart from within. Kalen could feel the pull of the darkness himself, but he held fast, believing in the prophecy, believing that the Heart of Light was their only hope. After weeks of traveling, they reached the ancient ruins beneath the sands of Egypt. The place was a labyrinth, filled with traps, illusions, and guardians from a forgotten time. But Kalen's group pressed on, driven by the knowledge that the world's survival rested on their shoulders. In the deepest chamber of the temple, they found it, a crystal glowing with an otherworldly light suspended in a shaft of radiant energy. It pulsed with life, its glow pushing back the darkness that threatened to consume the world. As Kalen reached for the crystal, the ground shook, and a booming voice echoed through the chamber. The Void King had found them. A portal tore open in the air, and the Void King stepped through, his presence filling the room with an overwhelming sense of dread. He was a being of pure darkness, his form shifting and writhing like smoke, his eyes two burning pits of malice. The very air around him seemed to distort, bending to his will. "You think this will stop me?" The Void King's voice was a cold, mocking whisper. "I am the darkness, I am eternal." Kalen stood his ground, clutching the Heart of Light. The darkness may be eternal, but so is the light. With a final desperate effort, Kalen thrust the Heart of Light into the Void King's path. The crystal flared to life, and a brilliant burst of light erupted from its core, bathing the chamber in a blinding radiance. The Void King screamed, his form writhing in agony as the light seared through his being. For a moment, the darkness retreated, but the Void King was not so easily defeated. He roared, summoning all his power to fight back against the light. His shadowy tendrils lashed out, attempting to extinguish the Heart of Light. But Kalen and his team held firm, rallying behind the crystal's power in the end.